to get on the round.
Tommy Caparelli.
How's it going? I'm Tony Giovanoli.
Hi, I'm Alberto De La Guardia. Alex Kelly. Aaron Medici.
Emmanuel Moore.
Guys can jump right in with questions.
This is maybe like just another run down the line one, but do each of you guys kind of have like regions that you recruit, or like anything we should know about, like these are the areas you're looking at?
So we all kind of work together. Good amount of crossover between areas. We definitely like to focus on certain areas of the country, but with a lot of crossover between what we do and where we look for players.
Nate was saying how important relationships are. Anybody that wants to jump in on that. What's it like developing relationships with high school kids today, and what they're looking for out of it? Not only a program, but a relationship with a coach.
I think it works. I mean, especially since most of us, or all of us, have our own personal relationship with Coach Fran. So, we can give them that insight on what they can expect with a coach like him. And then just knowing our knowledge of what he expects of us as a program, we can give them the insight on what to expect when they come here. And then, it comes down to them getting them here and having them see and experience for themselves.
And I think speaking to, you said what it's like building relationships with high school athletes, I think it's one of the more rewarding parts of the job, getting to know kids, getting to know their families, and seeing it through to them coming on campus eventually, and things of that nature. It can be pretty rewarding and one of the cooler parts of the job.
For any of you guys that have more on the veteran side, how has recruiting sort of changed? What do you think is like the biggest difference now versus maybe 10 years ago?
Originally I was a college coach, and now I became a high school coach, so I've seen both sides of it and stuff like that. So when you see as far as recruiting is concerned, it's a lot of other loyalty things. You have the transfer portal and stuff like that. So it's a lot of different things, and relationships, like you talked about before, become a huge factor, especially when someone went here and at the end of the day they'll be in the portal and go somewhere else. So it's completely changed from 10 years ago. It's a totally different landscape as far as college recruiting is concerned nowadays.
What kind of questions are high school kids asking you guys about NIL these days?
Honestly, it's probably not talked about as much as you would think from athletes. That's certainly one thing that can be above guys like our pay grades. Not something that we deal with a whole lot. It comes up here and there, but that's kind of above our pay grade, I would say.
A coach or a kid slides his highlight reel into your DMs. Can you guys kind of walk us through then what the process is of getting them maybe to on campus, or deciding that you aren't going to pursue them?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, we like to get as many eyes as we can on players when they reach out, or if we find somebody. Just kind of being as thorough as we can, making sure our position coaches watch guys. That's kind of our job. We're kind of a filter between recruits and our position coaches and our coordinators. So the process is kind of just get as many eyes on it as we can. If we nothing too spectacular. If we think the kid can play, push him to our staff, and kind of go from there.
One of the things we've heard a lot about, right, the offensive line is to get bigger. We want to get faster. I imagine you guys have non-negotiables in terms of measurables. Like if you're not at a certain place, like we won't even look at you, even if you look like a good player on film. Is that, am I right? Or
I would say there's.
I mean, you don't want me.
There's definitely certain sizes and speeds that you prioritize, but I don't think anything at the end of the day can be placed upon being a good football player. So we value all types of different things when it comes to scouting. Really trying to look for pro profiles. And we're a developmental program. We own that. We know that. So, but no, I don't think there's one blanket measurable or speed or time that we look for. Just want to be thorough and evaluating the player's value for us.
When you talk about a pro profile, what are some of the things that your factors you're sort of looking for and considering?
A lot of people think it's size and speed, which it definitely is a priority for us, but we worry as much about character. I think that when you talk about becoming a pro, you want to talk about character, how much a guy loves the game, what he's about, not only when he's on the field, but when he's off the field. Definitely my few years in the industry, that's what I've noticed is something that's as important as anything. So when it comes to being a pro, getting to the next level, I think that's a non-negotiable, definitely. Is people with high character.
Tommy, you've got Florida, right? You coach, are you recruiting Florida, right?
We're not going into specific regions for specific guys because there's a lot of shared, so we don't want to specify who's where because you may hear from different people.
Gotcha, okay. I'm just curious from what athletes are saying from, let's say, highly recruited areas about Syracuse. Maybe you weren't there before, but now they're interested in Syracuse? Like, how's the word getting out in places that maybe you don't traditionally recruit in, that recruits are saying, hey, I'm interested, I want to come up and I want to see that?
And I think you just have to go into the factor of who the coaches are here. You look at Fran Brown, you look at Elijah Robinson, you got two guys that were back-to-back #1 recruiters in the nation over the last couple of years. They've really dominated their position and dominated their fields as far as recruiting and coaching is concerned. So, then you talk about other guys on the staff. I think that's really where it comes down to. At the end of the day, life is about relationships, and this is a people business. It's still a face-to-face business. And getting people on campus and getting people in front of them, that's the most important factor, because the guys here are different. They're outstanding at their job. These guys do a really good job evaluating things. And that's really what I would say. I'd say the difference are the people.
And then for anybody, I asked Nate this too. We've seen so many more recruits here at practices throughout spring than in prior years. Is that kind of a Fran philosophy? Is that you guys just trying to expose as many athletes to Syracuse as possible? What's kind of the thinking there?
I think the product basically speaks for themselves, Our social media team is doing good putting our stuff out there, and everyone can see and feel the energy, whether it's the people in town or the people that are looking on the internet and everything. And then again, like Tommy said, the coaches and their credibility does speak for themselves. So I think it's a growing interest here, and as we continue to find guys and add to that interest and get them and their families here, it's growing. Word of mouth is just spreading, and social media is helping. So I think it is just the product that we're putting out there, because we are focused on us and what we're doing in here, and all of that is taking care of itself.
I think
building off that, it seems like there's been a growing number of 26, 27, and some 28 guys coming to practices here. How do you go about identifying guys that are further away from college ball and identifying what could make them an ideal fit for your program?
I think regardless, good football players are good football players, so you can kind of spot that regardless of class or location. I think sometimes it can be as simple as that. Good football players are good football players. So
we've built connection with the coaches here. They have certain areas that they work with as well, and they've built relationships with these coaches, and these coaches are able to pass them along to us, and we identify which ones that we think should pass along, and invite to camp. Coach Fran, he's big on go get them. I think these guys work really hard and identifying talent. We got the coaches to go get them, so trying to get a lot of eyes on Syracuse and get everyone up to the loud house. So
in this day and age, you can't just be focusing in on the 25 class, right? You got to be thinking multiple years ahead, because everybody is. So 28s, 27s, down the line, it's good to get them on campus early, get verified measurables on them, and start that process with them as early as possible.
I don't know if this is something you guys can share, but is there even like a rough estimate of how many prospects have been through spring practice this spring with you guys?
honestly, not sure what that number is, to be honest with you. I can just tell you when we have our Saturday scrimmages, it's an overwhelming amount of people on the sidelines, but we have the people here to make it happen and to make sure they have a good experience and that we can kind of stay sane through the chaos, and that our coaches can do what they need to do on the field and then be prepared to recruit afterwards. So not sure on an exact number, but it's been quite a bit.
Take two more for these guys.
For the more experienced guys here, what are some of the qualities that you see in the coaches here that make them great to work with?
Passion, energy, urgency. It's been key here with the new staff coming in, and it's just been a great environment to work with these individuals. It kind of, I don't know, it's great to be around.
Yeah, Tony and I were both here in the previous staff, and just being out here in practice, it's really evident just the different energy levels from the coaches, and you can see that from the players as well, and it just creates a whole different type of competitive environment here. So I'll say what Tony said, first and foremost, is just the energy around this place is completely different. It's just from top to bottom, everybody's more excited, everybody's more energetic, and that the players feel that, and themselves, they become more competitive and bring more energy onto the field.
In terms of the day-to-day stuff, do you feel like there's a significant change from how this program was approaching recruiting in the previous regime to now?
Yeah, there's definitely some changes. I won't go into specifics, but obviously there's a much bigger focus on recruiting, right? Coach Friend's known as a recruiter, and he obviously puts a lot of importance on that. And when you value recruiting, you value scouting, right? So our scouting room is right next to his office. We speak with him multiple times a day. He knows exactly what we're doing, so he's definitely much more. He's very detailed in all aspects of the football team, but especially in the scouting department, how we go about things and our process. And we got a chance to work hand in hand with him on a lot of what we look for in players. So we have a very clear vision of what he wants, and just having that much of a closer relationship with the head coach makes our job a lot easier. And it's good to have somebody who values scouting and recruiting, and he puts a lot of importance on us and gives us a lot of responsibility. So it's different.
And I was at Georgia over here with Aaron, and he was Coach Fran's right-hand man, and we were talking about it earlier. I don't know if there's a coach out there that watches as many guys as him as a position coach or a head coach now. And I remember you early in the morning, you had to be in by 7, you had a lunch period to watch, and you were always there till 10. So,
Yep.
he's been relentless. Obviously, he's bringing that with Dart. He's always been about that.
Yeah, I think just comparing it to other places that I've been, and I feel like a lot of people can speak to it. Just the emphasis on recruiting here and really scouting and personnel is just, it's different. The urgency from Coach Fran. I don't know what other coaches across the country are doing. I just know he's watching a lot of film, really as much as we are. You stack that up over time. If you say he's watching 7 players a day or 10 players a day, you calculate, you do the math over time. That's going to add up. You're getting eyes on a whole lot more players. So we hope the results will shine through as they have in years past for him.
Thank you, guys.